Hello, Creative Collective. How are you doing today? Hope all are well. Hope all are rocking and rolling. Um, Today's a very interesting day. This Sunday is it's very interesting. We just had Thanksgiving here in the States, and it's a time of celebration, time of family, time to look back and see and appreciate what we're all grateful for. So, no one's on right now, I don't think. Let me look over here. Let me see. Dut, dut, dut. I'll make sure I'm not missing anybody. Okay. Hello. Make sure y'all can hear me. Hello? All right. All right.
Make sure y'all can hear me.
Thank you so much. So, talking about Thanksgiving. First, what I want to do is tradition here on Sundays with Suits. We have the Atlas consciousness. Atlas, he holds the world, right? That's what he does. So if you have any worries, if you have any problems today, if you have any concerns, you're like, oh, my job, oh, my finances, oh, the test, oh, the business, oh, the blankety blank blank blank. Just go symbolic, put your hand in the air like this, right? Boom, right? And take a few seconds. Breathe in, breathe out. All right. So, who we got watching? Who's here? Tell me who's here. Tell me who's here. Don't be afraid. Don't be shy. Let me know. Let me know. All right. So I did something very interesting. I find it interesting. So I'm not a big sports guy. Not a big sports guy at all. But Shaquille has been appearing on my Facebook for some reason. I don't know. I don't know why. Maybe it's all the Shaqaroonies that I got, which are very good. Um, Maybe it's, I mean, I don't know. I have no idea. But so I started following some of his stuff, and then I saw that he was a commentator and analyst on a show. And like I said, I don't watch sports, right? I watch WWE, right? I'm not a big sports guy. I was a mascot in high school, like I've said, but not. It wasn't like ooh yay, like people like basketball, football, hockey, tennis, bing, yeah, golf, boom. That's just I was never there. But today that might have changed. Today that might have changed. So I watched uh, a special series they did on TNT on their show Inside the NBA. I think that's what it's called, right? Really good series. Even if you're not a basketball fan, the portrait, the substance, the strength of character, everything that they showcase in this series on TNT about these analysts is amazing. Absolutely amazing. Which when I was sitting there and I was like, "Oh, I hope that the series ends uh, before the show because I want to watch more." So then Charles Barkley appears on my TV, right? And like I said, I'm not. I mean, you know the names, you know the Dream Team. You know, I'm almost 40, so I remember the Dream Team. I had the hat and everything. Um, but I didn't know about the significant impact that these people have made. Um, so I learned something new. Like my dad used to always say, learn something new every day. If you learn something new every day, then guess what? You can go to sleep a better and happier man. So I was thinking about substance, and I was thinking about strength of character, and I was thinking about spirit, and I was thinking about how we as metaphysicians, we as holistic workers, we as paranormal investigators, we as storytellers, as entertainers, we always want to create. We always want to entertain. We always also want to enlighten, help, heal, right? That's what we want to do. I remember one of the first investigations I went on, one of the investigators told me, he said, this is a lot bigger than you think. You may just be in this little country town at this person's house, but you have had a privilege to come into their home. They've taken the time to share with you their life and something that is hindering a happy life at the time. So respect where you're walking into, and respect that you may not believe their claims. You may think, oh, this another house I'm going into. Somebody watched way too many horror movies, right? But the investigator said to me, you have to take all your assumptions and you put them aside. Because as soon as you start assuming, you take any chance of having a clear, substance-filled experience, right? Something of substance, something of merit. If you start assuming that this person and that person, their claims are because they watched too much Tales from the Crypt. I just dated myself there. Or they watched too much American Horror Story, or this, that, these, and those. Then you've already damaged your experience. And in this day and age, we have to start looking and thinking and speaking with substance, right? We have to, because everything is recorded. Everything like this is going to be here. All right, Mort. So we all have to start sharing substance, and sharing our strength and support in our spirit. And so when we are sharing our spirit, that spirit-filled experience has some kind of weight to it, has merit, has love, has power, has meaning. So when I was watching inside the NBA, right, it is so crazy how things work. And I think anybody who's an investigator, anybody who's an entertainer, anybody who is any kind of holistic worker, if you like sports, if you don't like sports, you should really go watch this series because it talks about a lot of things. It gives you an insight into why it became one of the most watched shows ever, which I mean, like, I didn't know. Like, I'll be the, I always will admit when something has just blown by me and it shouldn't have, right? Like just whoosh, right? And I think that also gives the message that we have to start realizing that there are a lot of things out there in this world. There's so much in this saturated media world, right, that is getting our attention, right? Some good, some bad, some really bad, some mind-numbing, right? But we have to really start to be on the lookout, right? Thanks to Hulu. If I wouldn't have had Hulu, right, and seen this, I'd be like, oh, okay, let's see, let's see what they got here, and it just appeared, and I had a great night of watching TV, learning about something that I never thought 2 cents about. Never. It was just like, oh, basketball. Oh, NBA. Oh, okay. All right, cool. But it was very entertaining. And I know what y'all are saying. Y'all probably saying, what does this have to do with investigating? What does this have to do with intuitive, mediumship, spirituality? Well, game, respect. Game recognizes game. We've all heard that, right? We all know that some junkyards, there's more than one dog. In the paranormal fields, there are many a junkyards and there are many a dogs, right? I mean, no disrespect when I say that to the dogs or to the junkyards, right? It's just an expression, right? But we have to learn the boundaries. We talked about boundaries a couple of weeks ago. We have to learn that when we are in these situations, when we are in someone else's yard, right? Like when I was in that person's home, right? And I was going from room to room and all their family portraits were hanging up and all their private stuff was around. I had to respect the boundaries of this home. I had to respect there was a unwritten rule, commandment, if you will. Like, hey, like you gotta be careful when you're pulling your camera in. You gotta be careful when you're pulling your the cords in. You have to be careful. You have to be careful. Hello, Wild Bill. Hello, Christy. Hello, Virginia. Thank you all for tuning in. All right, I'll get the song in a second. But tonight I was like, okay. So when we're talking about substance, we're talking about strength, we're talking about support, we're talking about those soothing energies that we all want in our life. We have to understand that we're changing. The world is changing, right? So if a tree falls in the forest, right, we can either let the tree stay and let nature take its course, right? Or we can collect the tree, right, cut it up, right, and build something on the right foundation. This life, our life, it's all about choices and the choices that we make. Are we going to make a choice that has substance, or are we going to make a choice that has nothingness? We make a choice that where I can make $1 million doing this, right? But be very, very unhappy. Be very, 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 very unhappy. And the money probably would be a curse, right? On some levels, right? Like Midas, right? Midas, everything he touched turned to gold. Everything turned to gold. So when we pick certain projects, when we pick certain places to investigate, when we have clients, right? One of the greatest lessons I ever learned from one of my holistic teachers was, you don't have to say yes. You can say no. You don't have to say yes. You can say no. If you know that this is a bad idea, right? You are an intuitive. You have some kind of woohoo, right? You have the third eye. You have your heart, your soul, your intuition, right? If you are an intuitive and you use your modalities, say, okay, let me see, is this a good idea? It's okay. Don't worry about the money. Don't worry about, oh, I need this. Worry about, am I going to help this person? Is this going to be a situation where it is substance, where this person and me, we're going to work together? It's going to be a collaboration of healing, of happiness, of honor, of honing in the skill set, right? Because no matter how many readings you do, every human being is different. Every location is different. Every set is different. You know, you can say, oh, I've done The Lion King 1,000 times, right? Say to these Broadway people, oh, I've done Lion King 1,000 times and it's the same set and everything. But it's not. It's not. It's not. No show is ever the same, the exact same, right? Never, because everybody's different. You can't make a carbon copy. And so many people nowadays are trying their damn best. They're like, well, what can we do to replicate that? Right there. I want that. Right? I want that. I need that. That. Remember when I was younger, there was a kid on YouTube. God, I wish I remember his name. But he was a lot older than he was playing. He played, and it was a life story. He created this character. He eventually had a show on Nick. But I remember people saying, I want to create that. Like what that person has, right? I want that. I want that success. I want those views. I want this. I want that. I want that recognition. If that's all you're worried about, you're going to have a hard life. If you're worried about success, recognition, money, right? And you don't put happiness up there at the top. Happiness. Happiness. Being happy. Right? My dad used to tell me, if you wake up in the morning and your feet touch the ground and you're happy doing your job, you are blessed above all else. Because so many people do not get to experience that kind of blessing. So work for it. You might have to start shoveling, boom, or you might have to start being a trash man or whatever. It doesn't matter. You might have to do a job you hate so you can do a job you love. It is your choice when you leave that job, right? There's a, is it Breadstick and Ricky? I think that's it, right? Great content creator on TikTok and on YouTube, and he's a blue collar worker. And he talks about, and he gives insight into the construction life. Really, really great. Very, very funny. But he throws some really hard truths out, right? And people are like, oh, they're hiring everywhere? Everywhere they're hiring? No, that can't be. Yes. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Don't believe me? Just type hiring into your Facebook, right? Just type it once, just once, or jobs, right? All these programs and all this stuff will just start going all over. I can't tell you how many things appear, and I am employed, right? If you want a job, right? You want a job, you want substance, right? You want something. You want to have a substantive life. You want to have a life fulfilled, right? You can do it. You can do it. It's all up to you, right? It's all up to you. No one else but you. If you start blaming other people, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. If you start blaming other people, oh, well, my life is so hard right now. Let me tell you, I was doing this and I was doing that. And, or I just feel like the skeleton of the man that I have no muscle anymore. I have no, I just feel, okay, that's great. That's great. That's a part of being a human being, is self-realization, self-actualization. Okay, here we go. I probably use those words wrong, but that's okay. Y'all get the point. If you see yourself and you're like, okay, this is not who I was, who I want to be. We talked about last week, we talked about who you actually are, right? And who you portray yourself to be, who you think you are, right? And who your friends think you are, who you want to be, and who you actually are, right? Right? It's hard. It's very, very hard. Life is not easy, right? Life is not a crystal staircase. I'll never forget that. I heard that in high school and I use it all the time. Life is not a crystal staircase. And to put a little button on it, would you want life to be a crystal staircase? Do you know how hard that'd be to clean? Do you have any idea how hard it'd be to clean a crystal staircase? If you don't, just imagine having white floors and 4 dogs and then magnify it times 1 billion, right? That's what it would be like. That would be like a Sisyphean task, like pushing the boulder up, right? And then waking up in the morning and the boulder being back down at the end. So you may want this, that, these, and those, right? But ask yourself, what is it that you need? What is it that you need? Right? One person will say, oh, it's common sense what a person needs. They need a house, right? They need a roof. They need a way to pay the bills so they can keep the roof. Be good if you threw a loved one in there so you have family, so you have like community. Be good to have community. Okay, so and people they can make a list. I can make a list. You can make a list. Tom, Dick, Harry, Bill, Jill, June, May, they can make a list. But in the end, only you know what you really need. Only you need. Like I know I need now to go outside, right? I've waited the outside forever. But every night after work, I get off at 12, go out and I walk my neighborhood. Started because I lost my cat Avalon, right? This is how the universe works, right? This is how God works. This is how spirit works in mysterious ways. And we have to learn as they work in mysterious ways. We embrace those mysterious ways. We don't turn away from them. We embrace them. right? I remember I was watching a movie one time, and they quoted that great quote about you look into the abyss, and the abyss stares back, and then the guy responds, he's like, "Yeah," and I look that boop, boop, right in the eye, and I pull it closer. I say, "I'm not afraid of you. I would like to learn from you. I want to learn." Right? I want to learn. That's what we want. We want to learn. We want to become better. We want to leave this world better than when we found it. I had an acting teacher once tell me, he's like, if you go into a show, right, and you don't leave better, you may have gotten all the applause, all the praise, everything, right? But you have cheated yourself. You have cheated yourself. And I sat there and I was like, wait, okay. I know what you're saying, but you're saying if I got all the applause, right? I got all the applause. I wasn't getting applause before. I got all the applause, right? I got all the recognition. Right? I got all that, right? But something didn't change, quote unquote. I didn't do a good job, and the teacher laughed at me. He said, "You went through all that conversation right there, and all I said was, if you don't leave a show, and you have not learned something, and you're not better, then you have not done your job." That stuck with me and it stuck with me forever. It really has. It's because it's not about the recognition. And so many times, especially in the entertainment world and now in the paranormal world and in the holistic world, it's all about, oh, how many likes you get on the Facebook and how many likes you get on Instagram and how many people talk about how great your services are, right? On the flip side, they don't tell you that always you're not going to get the greatest reviews, right? You're not going to get, not everybody's going to like you, right? And you could have done nothing wrong. It could be because you look like their ex, or you smell a certain way, or it's this, or it's that, or it's these, or those, right? It's been nothing you've done. Nothing you've done. The paranormal world, the metaphysical world, um, the whole para unity, right? It's changing, right? It's changing. We're changing in ways, and you see it here, like on Things Network, and you see it with brother and sister stations of the like elk. It's changing, right? You see it. I saw it with talent agencies when I was in Los Angeles, and I don't say that to toot my horn. I'm just saying that's where I saw it, right? I saw it. I saw that people, right? They all had the same idea. They all want the same idea, but how to get there, and they struggle. They struggle. That if we go this way, we go that way, we'll get there. That's how we'll get to Oz. That's how we'll get to heaven. That's how we'll get to Zen. If we go that way, we're assured that there'll be no traffic. There'll be no raiders. I won't leave battered and bruised. I'll be safe, and we all can get there. We all can get there. We can make more money, and we can help one another, and right? There are many ways to success. There are many paths full of substance, right? But just in the same token, there are many paths that are empty. They look really nice, but they're a Trojan horse. They're a trap. And they take us down. Some people get caught in addiction. Some people get caught in spending tons and tons of money and gambling and unsafe practices, not using knowledge, right? Not using knowledge and wisdom well, right? Doing things that aren't above board, right? But they think if they keep on doing this way, because all these people that they see as successful, that they see are substance, right? They're like, oh, that person has a Midas touch, right? But he or she knows when they can turn off that Midas touch and they can hold their loved ones and they won't turn to gold. Right? You have to understand. You have to understand that when you're working with spirit, when you're working with spirituality, when you're working with healing, and when you're working with hope and happiness and honorable actions, right? You have to, above all other things, be above board. And you have to know where you're treading and who you're treading with, because you are being watched. And I don't mean that as like, ooh, conspiracy, ooh, tin hat. I don't mean it like that. But if you need to think it like that, okay. You don't know who's in the room with you. You don't know who's in the room with you. In a paranormal investigation, you don't know if the random stranger who's like, oh, I just want to be an investigator, right? And every investigator will tell you they've had somebody message them, right, or done something and be like, oh, I just want to go on an investigation. I saw it. I've always been fascinated. And you're like, okay, Sally dropped out, and it's a little house, and we can manage it. And that person turns out to be an exec at Sci-Fi. You don't know that. The person who answered the call and said yes doesn't know that. You don't know, right? It's like Undercover Boss, right? People have this yearning to be in the middle of it, right? It's why we watch sports. It's why we watch wrestling. It's why we watch those TV series, right? I watched this great series on Netflix called Arcane. If you have not watched Arcane yet, I highly recommend it. Cowboy Bebop as well. They want to be in the middle of the story. They want to feel it. They want to relate. They want to get these things going. They need it because it's an escape. It's an escape. It's an escape from their reality, right? So we, as workers of the light of love and truth and honor and respect, we have to have substance. It has to be real. It has to be weighted substance. It can't be the fake substance. We can all act, right? I tell my students when I'm teaching acting, I say, hey, I don't want actors. Your parents taught you how to act, or they should have. Act like a man, act like a woman, act like a soldier, act like this, act like a gentleman, act like a lady, blah, 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 right? That's fine. I want you to tell me a story. I want to feel. I want to know. I want to be entertained. I want to be enlightened. I want to be healed. I want to be given hope. I want to have a hurrah moment, right? Anybody can act. Anybody can pretend. But Meisner, what did Meisner say? Acting is living life truthfully under imaginary circumstances. That right there. Living life truthfully. That's what we all need to do. We need to live life truthfully. Enough with the lies. And we've all lied. I've lied. You've lied. Sally, John, Bill, Blow. They've all lied, right? We've all told white lies. We told big lies, right? Because we're scared. Substance scares us. It scares people, right? When we like, oh, that's common sense. Like Wild Bill said earlier, and respect. That's a thing. But if we respect somebody and we have common sense, we might not be like everybody else. We might not be liked. That's scary, right? I'll never forget, I was on an investigation and they wanted me, I was with a team and they were insistent that I not wear a suit. I was like, that's not a thing, right? Like, it was a very serious, like, with the team members thought I was just trying to rebel against their code. And that's not it. That's how I was comfortable. And if I wasn't comfortable, I wasn't going to be a good investigator. So I say that, know what you're comfortable doing and know what you're not comfortable doing. I said in one of my first shows, I said, if you're not comfortable going into a location, You stand up and say, hey, you know what? I'm not comfortable. I'm sorry. I'm not comfortable. You know what? This might really not be a good thing for me. I might just go over here, because I'll be glad to like get the waters and stuff and like I'll break it down, but this is not for me. Not this one. Well, I just, I tell everybody, I say, before I go into a location, I'll always say, is it okay if I come in here? Right. And some people laugh at me. They're like, well, what, somebody gonna answer you? And you just feel it, right? Some spirit, when you work with spirit, if you're an investigator, if you're a medium, if you're an intuitive, if you're any kind of empath, you have a sense, right? Just like Spider-Man, little, the spider sense, certain levels. People have certain levels of things. They say women's intuition, right? Mother's intuition. It's a thing. It's not pretend. It's a thing, right? Twins who can feel other people's pain. It's a thing. Energies are a thing. So we have to learn how to work with energies, right? We have to learn how to work with our environment, right? And I think a lot of times as entertainers, we're thrown, and entertainers and enlighteners are just thrown in because people, especially now, they're like, just put them in front of a camera or a phone and let them go. Let them go, right? It's like improv, right? Long form or short form, whatever. Just like, but if those people don't know their boundaries, their borders, if they don't know those things, right? A lot of trouble can happen. A lot of things. You don't want to go out. You don't want to go into one investigation and be saying, okay, and y'all can insert whatever you want to there. And then it's like putting your foot in your mouth. And then the lead investigator's looking at you like, really? Like, aren't you observing? Haven't you observed the house at all? Like, this is this and that's that, and respect, a little common sense, right? So we just have to, flip a coin. Everybody's messed up. I'm going to mess up with my new job. Every night I'm like, okay. I listen to 16 Tons by Ernie Ford before I start. And then I listen to Across the Nation, the old wrestling intro theme. And because it's two dynamics, right? It's two dynamics. One's about work, right? And one's about coming together. Boom. And with my new job, I have to bring people together. They might have a problem. I have to bring a resolution, right? And I also have to realize sometimes I can't resolve the situation, right? We have to realize that when we investigate, right, or when we're doing a reading, you may not have all the answers. Don't be a liar. Don't be phony. That's when you get the review. That's when the people are like, I let you into my house. I sent my kids to their grandparents. And you come back, well, we didn't get anything. Or even worse, you don't even call them back. And that happens more times than you take a stick at with some investigations, and some teams. And then, you start hearing stories. I can't tell you. One reason why I stepped back from investigating for so long is because you hear these horrible stories about how some people treat clients and, treat, estates and treat historical places and treat other investigators and say this and say that. When again, we're all on the same path. We're all on the same path. We all want to get to the top. I'm still getting used to this. Top of the mountain, right? We all want to get there, right? And so when you ring that bell, right, what happens? You can't unring that bell. That bell's been rung. It's happened. It's happened. The vibration has happened. it's the echo has gone. Right? You can't go back. You can't go out and grab it. Right? It's just like when you say something out of anger, right? And you're like, oh my God, oh, I can't believe it. You don't know. If you could, and then 3 days later, a week later, you're like, ooh, eh, where was that coming from? Where? I don't know. Right? I don't know. And the reason why I talk about all this is because it goes back to substance. When you're filled with something that is more, right, than you expect, that is a strong, supportive spirit, a soul that wants to honor and give hope and share happiness. That is substance. When you have knowledge and you use it for the right reason, the right ways, and wisdom, right? And you share that, right? And you work and you collaborate with people, that's substance. So I yearn and I plead with everyone to start thinking more about who you are and why you do the things you do and why you're called to do the things you do and how can you become better? How can you help this world? Right? How can you be an atlas for other people so they can take a little break? Right? So they can get their map out and they can say, okay, let's get on this right path here. Let's get on this right path. Let's get on the right path. Right? You know, it's important. It's important. We have to learn how to get on the horse. We have to learn how to get on the horse. And we have to learn that when we get on the horse, if we don't respect the horse, our journey is going to be short. It's going to be short. You have to be one with the horse. You can't force the horse to water and make him drink. You can lead him or her, but you can't force them. You can't. So for everyone out there who is like, I'm trying to run a business. I'm trying to have these employees do this. I'm trying to have my team do this. I'm trying to produce this show here. I'm trying to write this series here. I'm trying to teach these kids how to act here. I'm trying to get out of debt here. I'm forcing, right? I always think about when I was younger and a teacher was like, you're trying to put a cube through a smaller circle. You're trying to do this. And it's not working. It's not working. What you're doing is you are doing the same thing over and over again, thinking you get the same, getting a different result, and you're not. And that's what we call that insanity. So I'm gonna pull some cards now, because I wanted to go and I wanted to work with this and see what the universe was thinking about substance and how we could strengthen and support our society, right? How we could sing a song, right? Where when we sang that song, right? We would be more equipped, we'd be more prepared, we would become more aware, right? Because it's like when you hear a great singer, right? You hear a great singer and they sing and you're like, oh, wow, that was amazing. I didn't think I needed that, but I needed it, right? Just like when you hear a great speech. I never knew I needed that speech, right? I never knew I needed to hear that. But when I heard it, now it's like, so same thing with like being a part of a team or being a part of a cast or being a part of a creative unit, right? Or a healing ensemble or a holistic center or these different things. You come and you go, right? Some people stay for a long time. Some people don't. Some people just leave, right? Apologize, dog is barking. So we have to be aware. Again, our environment, using common sense, being aware. Like right now, I'm distracted. My dog was barking, right? But I'm here and I'm watching. So I'm trusting that all is okay, right? Be aware of your situations, right? Be aware of your situations. And when you're aware of your situations, you'll find out a lot of times that awareness is key to increasing your substance, strengthening your metal, your merit, right? Your merriment as well, right? So we're gonna pull some cards. I love this deck here. I just keep using it because it's so great and it just tells us so much. So if y'all have any questions, please feel free to put them in the live chat on Facebook or here. Either or, it's great. Or you can always email me, sundayswithsuits@gmail.com or the eccentricmedium@gmail.com. If you're looking for an appointment, same thing. You can also go to suitshealy.com. The number is 601-724-9143. So, all right. So here we go. Our first card is Take the Lead. And what does Take the Lead have? But an atlas in its hand. A fire. A bright fire. And so what that tells me is we have to take the lead when we are creating. We have to take the lead. We have to say, okay, so I know I need the strength. I need the substance so that when I am leading, when I am creating, it's something that's going to be worth a damn. It's not going to be something that's just going to fall flat on its face. It's going to be something. It's going to be something of substance. What I create is going to matter, right? It might not matter now. I might write this great play, or I think it's a great play. I might write it, right? And I might be long dead by the time it does what it's supposed to do, right? What is one of the Gibbs rules? When the job's done, leave it, walk away, right? The same thing's here. When you take the lead, you are taking responsibility. You are also becoming the focus. Heavy is the head that wears a crown. That means a lot more than when people they just use it now like, oh, the leader who wears a crown. Yeah, okay, right, I get it. But when you're creating something, and it could be artistic, it could be business, it could be anything, and you take that lead and you put your blood, sweat, and tears in it, and your investment, and your time, and your money, and maybe your friends' money or your people, investors, okay, well, your focus, you have now people's focus. People have your attention, right? People have your attention because you have taken the lead. You have picked up the yellow sun and you said, hey, here it is. I've got it in my hand. People are watching you and seeing how you're not burning yourself. Because when somebody picks up a fire orb, quote unquote, right? This is just colorful imagery, but you can get the picture, right? If I need to be less colorful, I'll do it this way. If someone says, oh, he's invested his life savings or her life savings, right, in something that he or she believes in, I think I might as well hold the fire orb because that's a big deal. That's a huge deal. It's a massive deal. And people will focus on that. That's why I had a great teacher once tell me, he said, if you say something that you're doing on social media, right, or at a party, right, or just in like with your acquaintances, but it's something of substance, right, where it gets people's attention, like, oh, I'm working with so and so. This is a big thing in the entertainment industry. Oh, I'm working with blah 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 blah, blah, right? And people go, whoop, really? What? Okay, and they want to know more. When you say, hey, I just invested my life savings in this, people were like, whoa, you must really believe in it. You must really. That's a lot of a pound. That's more than a pound of flesh. That's like all of you, right? That's a lot. That's something that is big and impactful, right? You have definitely engaged your situation and make it so, and you are flying, right? And they're all yelling, "Don't fly too close to the sun!" And they're like, "Well, I have the sun in my hand, so it's hard." Right? Like, right? It's not easy. Life's not easy. Creating is not easy. So what do we have to do? We have to learn how to trust. When we trust, right, and we just let go, we just there's an acting exercise where people, you just fall. You see this in a lot of work environments too, when they're trying to build camaraderie, and you see it in ensembles and theater, in productions. They want people to trust one another. It takes a lot of trust for you to fall, right? For you to fall and let someone else catch you. Hold on one second. Enough. Sorry. And you also have to know when to say enough. You have to know when to embrace your situation. So when you take the lead and you start embracing, right? You start embracing, right? You take your horse, you get on your horse, right? And you respect the horse, you respect the work, the power that comes with it, right? That vehicle that comes with it, right? That respect, that honor, that opportunity, right? That opportunity. When opportunity abounds, guess what else abounds? Spirit. Spirit is abounding when opportunity abounds. Energy. Because for opportunity to happen, someone had to exert some kind of energy. They had to. It's not just like, oh, hey, you know what? Okay, let's go over here. No, someone had to do something. To create a business, someone had to do something. To create a movie, someone had to write it. Then you had to find someone to finance it, right? If you have a studio, then you had to buy it. Someone had to do something. Someone had to believe in it. So when you take the lead, right, your character, your substance has to be above board. You have to maintain merit and your mettle because you're in the focus. And you can't worry. You have to understand there's a certain distance when you're holding that burning fire, that sun, right, in your hand, and you might have those wax wings on, right? You might need to put it down for a little bit, right? Put it down. Know when to step away. Know when to get better wings. Know that you can leave and come back to things, right? Some of the greatest scripts that were ever written, someone put it in a drawer, waited 3 or 4 years, and then came back to it, right? So we have to understand that when we're working and when we're creating, when we're taking the lead, and when we're embracing this beautiful humanity, this beautiful world, right? Like I said, I'm not a big sports guy, but I would watch Inside the NBA because of the ensemble, and I know the history that created that ensemble. And I know the team behind it, the tech team, the writers, everything. I got to I got a view. That just didn't happen. People at TNT were like, hey, people need to know about this. I mean, they already know. We have tons of people watchers, Twitter, right? I didn't know. And I'm pretty on top of stuff, right? Like I see posts, I didn't know that. But that also goes back to not everybody knows everything. You may know a lot about this, right? But not know anything about that or these or those. I may know a lot about this, a little about that, and nothing about those. Like today. The choice is ours. When we receive that wisdom, right? When we receive it from somebody, the knowledge that we gain, because knowledge is power, right? And what we do with it, right? That's where it comes. That's how we take the lead. That's how we hold the fire in our hand, so that we have the wings, so that we can go and we can take the lead. We can embrace and we can trust, right? Or our own money, or our own time, or our own product, right? Or our own creation, right? And we're putting ourselves on the chopping block, right? It also goes the other way. Someone can believe in you and can believe you can take their creation, their baby, quote unquote, to the finish line. That's a lot more. That's a lot hotter, son. Believe it or not, because someone has already put the focus on you, right? Imagine this. Imagine you have a paranormal team, right? You have a paranormal team, and someone comes in and says, hey, I have this idea for a show. Okay. I have this idea for a show. It's already greenlit because I've got the framework, the bones, the skeleton, right? I've got it. I just need the muscles, the sinews, and the blood. And I've been watching your team, and I've been watching some other teams on social media and everything. I'm not a big time investigator, but I like what you do. I've seen the personal interviews you do with the clients. I've seen how real you are with everything. Wow. Okay. So here's the deal. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take your team. I'm going to take a few teams and put them together. And I want you to lead it. That's a big deal. And if you didn't have substance and you didn't have merit and you didn't have respect about those other teams and the leaders of those other teams, right, who are coming in, right? Oh, hey, that's a big deal. I know it's a little bizarre example, but it's the first thing that came to my mind, right? Because this kind of stuff happens all the time. In this day and age with social media, with people who have cryptocurrency and money to burn, right? And they're like, ooh, I've always wanted to be a producer. And now they can be it. YouTube changed that world. TikTok changed that world, right? All these different things, these platforms, Instagram changed those. Influencers changed the world, right? Where people now can do things with money that they want to do. They can be charitable. They can tell stories they want to tell, right? Because they put their pound of flesh, quote unquote, on many different scales, and it's equaled out. It's balanced out, right? So we have to be aware. We have to be aware of these things. We have to know that our substance is important. Our spirit, when we don't have substance, our spirit suffers. I don't know if you've ever been in an investigation or been on a show or a production where someone is going through a divorce, right? Or going through experiencing a death in the family or experiencing something tragic, right? I've been on some where that's happened. And let me tell you, it's hard. It's hard, but if you have a team of substance, people of substance, and they're there to support their team members, right? Their fellow cast, their fellow workers. It can become easier. They can get their own atlas for a little bit. Someone can come in and say, "Hey, let me hold your world for a second. Here's a soda. Here's a beer. Here's a glass, a flask, whatever serves your task. Here you go." Because I know life's hard. I've been there. I'm not going to say I understand it because everybody's different, right? How you articulate, how you tell people things is important. For a long time, when I would train people for auditions and such, coach people, I would get all caught up on the little things, the little bitty things, and because I was, a little anal on some things, and I'll be the first to say it. But I learned a lot of love and healing, right? Learned a lot of love and healing, and we learn these things. So I would say, oh, we got to do it this way. If we don't do it this way, then it's not gonna read right, and it's gonna be we're wasting our time. And now I look back and I hear myself, and I'm just like, ooh, I can't believe I said that. I can't believe I said I like. You grow when you get older, and your substance meter says, okay, like this was here, and it needed to be, and you were acting like when you need to be like, right? So if you might say, well, you know, after everything, like this world, and you know, after the last year and a half, man, like how how do you feel full, right? Like I don't know about you, but how many funerals did you go to? How many sad stories did you read on Facebook and Instagram? How many uh things did you see that made you like, what the right? It all just starts boom, 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 boom. But as I was watching that special today, I started really getting an insight, you know, and I give a lot of props to the Things Network and big props to Howard, because I wouldn't be doing this. I wouldn't be on here, right? If Howard was, just do it and just build your audience and just do this and do that and do that, and then Things Network appeared and it's like boom, whew, okay, here we go, and having a supportive wife and a supportive family and team, right? And knowing that where you stand in this world and what you stand for matters. So when you take that lead, right? When you take that lead, boom, and you become the focus of other people. Other people might be in awe, other people might be jealous. This happens a lot, especially in any kind of thing where when someone has a spotlight on them, right? They want that spotlight. It's human nature. They want to be recognized. It's the old story of the kid who's trying to make the basket, right? And finally he makes it. And then this other kid, is just, but the kid who works and makes it, boom, no one recognizes how hard that kid worked. But when the kid just comes up one time, boom, boom, and makes it, they're like, oh, that kid's so amazing. That kid's so young. That kid's this. Oh my God, like it's a prodigy. But the kid who put the work in and learned what needed to be done so they could make the basket, that's a whole nother ball game. The producer who learned, you know what, actor A and actor B, wow, their political affiliations make for really great TV. They do. They make for like back and forth. But is my show going to suffer? Can these artists put aside the personal aside and respect differences? Or is it smarter for me? Is it smarter for me to create a show for Bop Bop and create a show for Bop Bop where they occasionally cross over? I know that sounds crazy, but this stuff happens every day. Talent relations, right? You don't hear a lot about it. You don't hear a lot about talent development in studios and TV. But when you watch these documentaries on different shows and on different, you hear about these people and they say, yeah, we had our eye on so and so for 3 years. 3 years. And we were just waiting because we knew when this happened, that would happen. Okay, that's interesting, right? Studios. You hear all about these casting agents, and they're like, I watched Bill come in here and bomb. Absolutely bomb his audition. Right? Bomb it. But I also saw Bill the next week come into the commercial audition, and every note that I gave him on the bombed audition, he applied to his commercial audition. And that told me, boom, this person can learn. So I called the casting director. I'm just giving you an example. Boom, the person calls casting. Boom. Hey, I know this was bad. This was not good, right? But I want to show you something. And this happens every day too. It happens every day. People believe in people who work and who have substance. People believe in people who are not about the bottom line, about the money all the time, right? I remember a great story I was told where they're talking about this person gets this job, right? Person gets this job and works 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 and works, right? And everybody's like, why? What? I don't understand why she's not moved up in the company. And the story is that the individual went to corporate and was like, that life, not for me. I like being here. I like being here. I like being where I am. Some people like being where they are, and you have to respect that too. There are boundaries, and people know what they're good at. People know what they're not good at, right? I'm learning that every day. I'm good at this. I'm not good at that. I've got to learn how to do this, right? Yesterday I said something. I used a word, and I was like, I shouldn't have used that word. And now I know not to use that word. My substance increased, right? Something that I just, we have to learn how to engage our situations more. We have to learn how to engage our environments more. Because when we do that, people notice. It's not about the people noticing, but they do notice. It's about you and your journey. Your journey's yours. How you get to Oz. And like I said, when don't be afraid to say, hey, I have to take a step back. I have to take I'm not in the place right now. Right? I'm not in the place right now to do what is required of me or asked of me. I'm not there. And if I force myself, right, then it's gonna end badly. So we have to engage those situations properly. We have to engage them properly. We have to say, hey, if I engage this and I engage that, and I engage this half-ass, but I engage this fully, right? But something's wrong. Why am I engaging this? Right? I don't even like this. This is not. I love that, but I'm engaging half. And this happens all the time too. You see it in investigations. You see people who are amazing mediums, right? Amazing mediums on paper, right? On paper, or on their own social media streams, right? Or their own people like, go into session, go into readings and such, and you hear about them, and then they go on investigations, and it's not their wheelhouse, right? It's not their wheelhouse. Their wheelhouse is being with the person, right? Or their wheelhouse is not being in an investigation mindset, but walking into the environment, talking to the client, right? Having that one-on-one personalization, right? Then you have some that they are more, if you brought a client into them and set them down in a room and said they want a mediumship session, they would look at you and be like, I don't do that. Not like this. Not this is not what I do. I'm sorry. Love you. Here's the card of my friend who does it. I can't tell you how many times I've done that where I'm like, what you want? I don't do. I don't do. And I learned that, and I was blessed. I had some great teachers who taught me. They said, "Hey, if you don't do this, that, these, and those, don't pretend to do it." I had acting teachers who would say that. Don't say you can do a French accent on your resume and you can't do it. Right? You know, when I was a talent scout, and I would have doing talent auditions, and I would look at their thing. And I'd say, "Hey, so you can do a British accent, can you? Let's talk in British accent. Can you do one? Let's do it." You know, and they would look at me, and I'll be like, "Okay, can you do it?" And they'd be like, well, if I hear it, I was like, "Okay, so I'll have a friend downstairs. He's British. He's gonna come up here and talk to you for a little bit, and then you come back, and go ahead on it." That's not my greatest British accent, but you get the point, right? If you can't do it, if you're not comfortable doing it, do not force yourself to do it. The results can be disastrous. Now, there are exceptions to the rules on all these things, and people are going to say, like, "Oh, if you're not comfortable," like I've had this happen before. "If you're not comfortable, you got to get comfortable. You can't just say no to everything. You can't be scared." There's a difference with people who are scared about doing something because they're not comfortable, right? And there's a difference between the people who know that I'm not scared. I know myself, and this is not it, right? Like I said, I call it the example of where the people are like, not for me. I'll be glad to help any other way I can, right? Protecting yourself. Protecting yourself is also how you maintain a stronger substance of self and of spirit. Dedicated effort. Now, I want you to look at this picture here, right? We're going to talk about this picture because there's 3 people in this picture. There's 3. Now, you might say, "Well, I'll see a guy painting, right? I'll see a guy painting, and he's on a platform, right? Or is he not on a platform? What is this?" So, interpretation. So, when we're interpreting things, right? Now, obviously, this guy in the picture is on a platform. But if I took the platform away and you saw and blurred out the brush in his hand, right? You could say all kinds of things here. You could say this guy is looking out his past life. He's looking out at the way he used to hold his wife because we're not seeing his face, right? We're not seeing his face. This person's painting something, right? They're creating something. They're taking the lead, right? They're embracing and they're trusting and they're letting go, right? And they're accepting, right? Again, look at this. Right? In this card, you have red, you have that yellow, which again is that creative force, right? That creative energy. My creative collective, I talk about you all the time. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for y'all who've been supporting me from the beginning. You have your platform, what you believe in, what you stand for, right? You have your brush, your instrument, your tool. How you use your knowledge, right? How you make a substantial effort to make sure when you leave this world, you left it better than when you found it. You know, the great teachers, right, are those who know that they have left the classroom. They've left the classroom and no one can say that they didn't make an impact. That's how you know a great teacher. Because their labor, their burden is that their job, their calling is to educate, enlighten, support, even sometimes be a parental figure, right? An authority figure, right? An inspiration, right? And they do all this, click, 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 and they check all those boxes, right? And they're happy. And they're happy. And they don't care if someone says, oh, that teacher, they don't care. It doesn't matter because they know. And that's what's important. That's what I'm trying to get at. You know what your substance is. You know your strengths. You know your weaknesses. You know, the other day I admitted to myself, I was like, I don't know this, I don't know that, I need help with this, blah, blah. And I'm very much a hardhead and I hate asking for help, right? It's not because I see it as a sign of weakness. It's right? It takes me time to learn things. And so sometimes people want to teach you real quick, like we're on a deadline, we're right, right? And so I get frustrated. But that's my burden. Right? It's my burden. And I have to learn how to carry that weight and not take it personally. We have to learn our substance. We have to learn what weights we carry, be it in spirit, be it in society, be it in both, be it as an investigator, be it as a storyteller, entertainer, an enlightener, holistic worker, a normal, beautiful human being trying to do beautiful things in sometimes a not so beautiful world. Right? We have to know that because someone says this, someone says that, blah, blah, blah. It is our knowledge of our substance, of our metal, of our spirit. We know who we are. And we know that we can become better. It's when we know that it's when we tell ourselves that I can't. When it means I can. When people say I can't do this, right? I can't. Not I won't, but I can't. I can't. I just can't. But a lot of times that has that fear element, that scared element, that reluctancy element, right? Okay. So we have the cards here. We're going to wrap up because it's 9:44. But here we go. Man, we get that manifest card almost every week. So somebody must be manifesting something, right? So I want to send out love to everybody who is hurting during the holidays. I know these holidays were hard. First time for a lot of times that people were together with their families. And some people weren't there, right? So we had to learn how to open up. We get that card a lot too here. We had to learn how to open up. And then we had to learn how to trust. And we had to, this refusing to see, we had to accept that we probably sometimes are in denial. We're in denial about things. If it's not comfortable, if it's not going to increase our substance, increase our strength, enhance our metal, then we're like, okay. It's like, don't shoe fly, don't bother me. But we have to have awareness. Remember, awareness increases your opportunities to enhance and enlighten and educate the self, the soul, the spirit, right? It does. It matters, the substance. So awareness and substance are very much connected, because what you're aware of, that will also dictate to what you associate with and what you will be, what you choose to be a part of. So when you're refusing to see things, when you refuse, when you're like, I'm not, I mean, I know it's there, but right, right, you're accountable because you know it's there. If it's bad and you're refusing to see, you're just like, not my circus, not my monkey. You know, you hear that. You've heard that so many times. Someone else's junkyard. That's got a fence. Not my business. Right. And it's slippery slope. Very slippery slope we have. Right. Because some things, not my business. Not my business. Not my business. Right. But some things you need to see. You need to be aware of. Because someone might come to you and be like, hey, so a little birdie told me that you knew that this, that, these, and those was going on. What little bird? And that's the first thing you ask. It's the first thing you always ask. Who told you that? Remember when you were a kid? Who? What? Huh? Who said that? Right? Who said that? I want to know. Give me a name. Why? Because you want to make sure they don't say anything else. It happens. It happens. But that's not what you need to be focusing on. At least in my opinion, at least. The Suitsy opinion. When you refuse to see, and I know I talk about when my dad died, and I didn't actually engage that, I didn't accept it for a very long time, right? A very long time. And I was in up and down mode, and I was doing everything. I wasn't doing drugs or drinking or anything, thank God. But I was doing things that were destructive, right? Destructive to the self, destructive to the soul, because I was refusing to see something that was a big part of my life, right? That went away, right? It just went away, right? And it's hard. It's very hard. I'm currently writing a play that's kind of been inspired a little bit on that, on loss and understanding it and how to deal with it. And when we come together, when we open up and we talk and we acknowledge and we're like, okay, hey, yeah, you said some shitty things, or you've done some shitty things, or, I didn't like how this was handled, or at the time, sometimes closure, it doesn't matter how long it's been. Once it's closed, once you accept it and you see it, and you're not denying it. You're accepting it. You don't have to agree with it. Like right now, my dog is licking constantly, and I'm not denying it. It's happening. Right? It's happening. But if I didn't bathe them or whatever, like that's denying it. That's denying. It's like, oh, I can fix that. I can fix, probably needs a bath or whatever. So we have to accept common sense, as Wild Bill said earlier. We have to respect. When we respect, we cannot refuse to see. Right? When we respect, we cannot refuse. We can't. Because when you respect something, you respect it. You want it in the best possible light, the best possible outcome. Sorry about that. See? Action. Result. I had to react. Respect. Respect. Open up to people. You might not like what they say. You might not like, they might not like what you say. But you get on that common ground. You know, get in that place. Stop refusing to see, because if you look here, he can't see the opportunities. He's looking at the ground. He's looking at the ground. He can't see that sun. Right? He can't see his atlas. He can't see the person who's going to say, hey, here you go. Look, hey, look what we can do. There's a ladder here. We're going to build this ladder. It's going to go up really high, right? And we're going to be able to climb over this big, like, wall. And we're able to touch this green grass. And we got some trees out in the woods over there. And they've fallen. And we're going to make this beautiful estate. If you refuse to see the opportunities that abound, then you can't get angry when you don't have opportunities, when you feel like you don't have opportunities, chances. When Lady Luck walks in, right, with Sir Opportunity, and they're like, hey, you want to dance? Come on. Can you dance? If you can't dance, you say, hey, I'm not a good dancer, but I can move. I'll entertain you. Be honest. Be honest with yourself. Okay. One more card for the night. Here we go. Release. What is that? All that yellow. Look at that. All that yellow. He's got like a book. He or she has a book, and they're opening themselves and letting people read the pages. They're looking. If you look at it, they're looking. They see something. They focused. They've seen that person taking the lead, or they've seen the map to take the lead. And they're like, you know what? I'm fire. You know what? I'm Phoenix. I'm going to blaze. I'm going to do this. I'm going to light the world. I'm going to do it. Create opportunity. I'm not refusing to see. I'm going to make a dedicated effort because I know God and Spirit is about, and I trust. Watch how I hold myself when I take the lead. Watch how the lead embraces me when I trust. I will not refuse to see. I will release the things that are holding me back. I'll open the book that is me. I'll open up to the world. I'll let that dedicated effort show. Finally, persist in your pursuits, ladies and gentlemen. Persist in your pursuits. Go out there. Do it. Get on your horse. Let the love and healing begin. Right? Stand for something or you'll fall for anything. Right? Onward. Upward. Greatness abounds. Soak up that humanity. Create your art. Make your impact with the army of now, so we don't have to have armies tomorrow. No, we want people sitting under trees being enlightened. We want them running into the fields. We want them taking fallen lumber and making beautiful estates. We want to harvest great crops, right? We want to share our wealth. We want to entertain and enlighten. We want to leave this world better than when we found it. So, thank y'all for tuning in tonight. Thank y'all so much. Prayers for everybody during these holiday seasons where, someone's not around that they're used to being around. But they're there. Spirit's about. One of the first cards I pulled. So, mediumship message for all of you. Spirit is about. Spirit is about. Just listen. Look at the young children. I can't tell you how many times my son goes like this, and I'm like, who the heck is he looking at? Right? We see those that we love that are gone in the faces of our children, in the faces of nature, the faces of this world. We see them. We see them, but we cannot continue to refuse to see. Look up. Look down. Look to your left. Look to your right. Call your brother or your sister, your friend, your foe. Make them smile. Take them to lunch. Take them to dinner. Share some happiness. Do what you can. Do what you can for your fellow man. And make sure you tune into TNT and watch Inside the NBA, especially inside the special that was on. So it's really good. I can't tell you. So we release, we receive, and we accept. We change so we can fly. Uga Sooth, healing is life, and life is healing. Thank you all so much for tuning in tonight. Make sure you're tuned into Things Network. You're following everybody. You're saying hello. You're supporting. Support your fellow para-unities. Support your holistic workers. Support. Soothe. Strengthen. Sing them a song. All right? Sing them a song. A song that you wrote. Any kind of song. Don't have to be a singing song. Just sing them a song. Make them happy. Thank y'all for tuning in. Y'all made me happy tonight. Love you all. Uga Sooth, healing's life, and life is healing. Live from Trinity Station at the Wolf Bear Den. I'm out, and I'll see y'all next Sunday.